Boxers don't do this. This is why Canelo's not fighting Benavidez. Why would Canelo fight Benavidez, who's relatively unknown, and Benavidez beats him and Benavidez becomes overnight a superstar? That's Canelo's letting Benavidez make a name off of him.
So you're saying that you're going to make...
If it was up to me, like we keep on saying, we want to see Benavidez. Canelo, hell of a fighter. But my personal opinion, he's ducking Benavidez. You know, that's just my personal opinion. And I'm allowed to speak my mind. That's just what it is. We want to see Benavidez.
For years, the boxing world was told that Saul Canelo Alvarez was untouchable. He was the face of the sport, the undisputed king of 168 pounds, the cash cow who dictated terms, set price tags, and handpicked who got to step into the ring with him. But behind the icy demeanor, behind the tailored suits, and behind the smooth corporate Mexican pride persona, a storm was brewing. For 3 straight years, one name haunted Canelo in every interview, at every press conference, and on every social media comment section. David Benavidez, the Mexican monster, the relentless 6'2" pressure fighter who had been beating down the door for his rightfully earned mandatory shot. Every single time the question was brought up, Canelo brushed it off with total disdain. "He brings nothing to the table," Canelo would say. "He's disrespectful. Pay me $150 million to $200 million, and I'll fight him tomorrow." It was the ultimate power move until the narrative completely flipped. The pressure didn't go away. It multiplied. Fans began chanting Benavidez's name at Canelo's own public workouts. Analysts openly accused the pound-for-pound star of ducking the biggest fight of his generation. Promoters threw tens of millions of dollars onto the table, only to be met with demands for outrageous, nearly impossible guarantees. And when Benavidez finally grew tired of waiting, stepped up to 175 pounds, and started dismantling world champions in a second weight class, Canelo's narrative began to crumble under the weight of reality. Then the explosion happened. In an uncharacteristic, terrifying outburst that stunned the entire combat sports landscape, the cool-headed king lost his absolute composure. Gone was the polite PR speech. Gone was the calm dismissiveness. Canelo snapped. He looked directly into the camera, pointed his finger, and spat out the rawest, most vicious ultimatum of his career. This wasn't just trash talk. This was a king whose crown was burning. What forced Canelo Alvarez to completely break character? Is this a genuine masterclass in psychological warfare? Or is Canelo finally forced into a corner where his legacy is on the line? Grab your gear, because today we are breaking down the bitter rivalry, the backroom contract wars, the stylistic nightmare, and the explosive truth behind the fight the world has been begging to see. To understand why this feud reached a boiling point, you have to rewind to how David Benavidez became the ultimate boogeyman in boxing's super middleweight division. Long before Canelo Alvarez unified the 168-pound weight class in rapid, historic fashion, Benavidez was already the youngest super middleweight world champion in history. He was a physical anomaly, a massive frame for 168 pounds, equipped with lightning-fast hand speed, a vicious left hook to the body, and a punch volume that broke CompuBox records. While Canelo was collecting belts from Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, and Caleb Plant, Benavidez was steamrolling every single contender put in front of him. But Benavidez didn't just win, he broke men. He took high-level fighters and turned their nights into brutal, punishing beatdowns. Yet, despite being the WBC top contender and holding the interim belt, the ultimate fight with Canelo stayed out of reach. For a long time, Canelo had the ultimate leverage. As the undisputed champion and the undisputed king of pay-per-view, Canelo held all the cards. When reporters asked why he wouldn't fight Benavidez, Canelo's answers were calculated, calm, and designed to minimize his rival. He'd smile, lean into the microphone, and state that Benavidez hadn't earned it, that he hadn't fought anyone of real substance, and that his aggressive calling out was just clout chasing. When premier boxing champions offered massive purses for the fight, Canelo upped the ante, publicly stating that if a promoter wanted him to fight Benavidez, they would need to write a check for $150 million to $200 million. To the casual observer, it looked like business. To hardcore boxing purists, it sounded like a pricing out mechanism, a way to avoid a style that presented terrifying risk with questionable financial reward. The turning point came when the sanctioning bodies and fans stopped accepting the excuses. The WBC had kept Benavidez as the mandatory challenger for over 2 years, yet never enforced the mandatory order with the same iron fist they applied to other champions. Boxing fans began to ask uncomfortable questions. When Floyd Mayweather fought a young Canelo back in 2013, Mayweather took the challenge despite Canelo being the dangerous, rising star. When Canelo fought Gennady Golovkin in 2017, he stepped into the ring with a terrifying power puncher in his prime. So why was the line suddenly being drawn at David Benavidez? The narrative began to shift from Canelo is the undisputed king to Canelo is holding the 168-pound division hostage. When Canelo chose to fight Edgar Berlanga and John Ryder, fans voiced their frustration. They didn't want routine title defenses. They wanted the undisputed fight that mattered most. Benavidez's team kept pressing, sending formal letters, offering to take smaller purse percentages, and agreeing to any testing protocols, weight stipulations, or
not give us Canelo Benavidez. Why? Canelo, why? I do not understand it. You're demanding $200 million? Like, come on, dude. Basically, Canelo doesn't want to give us the good fights. Imagine if Canelo and Benavidez gets made. That's the Super Bowl of boxing. Boxing is on the rise. Canelo, don't screw it up for us. I thought I would never say this, but Canelo's scared. Literally, I thought I would, as a fighter, I know fighters are not scared. But wow, we've been begging Canelo. Please, Canelo.
Venue choices Canelo wanted. Every time Benavidez removed an obstacle, Canelo moved the goalposts. Eventually, the weight of the ducking accusations began to chip away at Canelo's legacy. Canelo has always cared deeply about how he is remembered in Mexican boxing history, right alongside legends like Julio Cesar Chavez, Salvador Sanchez, and Ruben Alvarez. Chavez was famous for taking on all comers, no matter how dangerous. By continuously sidestepping Benavidez, Canelo was risking the one thing money couldn't buy: respect. The tension boiled beneath the surface for months until the business landscape shifted. When global boxing powerhouses and mega promoters began putting unfathomable money into the sport, the excuses ran out. The contract was put on the desk. The pressure reached a boiling point. And that's when Canelo, pushed into a corner after years of silence, exploded in front of the world. But to understand why Canelo was so hesitant for so long, you have to look inside the squared circle and break down the absolute tactical nightmare that David Benavidez represents. Styles make fights, and in the entire sport of boxing, there is no style more tailored to give Canelo Alvarez fits than the one possessed by David Benavidez. To understand the danger, you have to break down how Canelo operates at his absolute best, and why Benavidez completely neutralizes his favorite weapons. Canelo Alvarez is a master counterpuncher. He thrives on pace control, head movement, upper body slipping, and unleashing explosive single-power shots that devastate his opponents. He lets fighters throw at him, slips under their jabs, rolls their right hands, and responds with crippling left hooks to the body or explosive uppercuts. Against opponents with average punch output, like Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, or Jermall Charlo, Canelo can walk them down, sit on his punches, conserve his stamina, and pick them apart round by round. He sets a slow, methodical pace where he throws 30 to 40 high-impact punches per round, relying on defense and precision. David Benavidez is the exact opposite. Benavidez does not throw 3-punch combinations. He throws 6, 7, and 8-punch combinations with bad intent. He averages anywhere from 70 to 90 punches per round, keeping relentless, suffocating pressure on his opponents from the opening bell to the final frame. Here is where the stylistic collision becomes dangerous for Canelo. You cannot slip 6 punches in a row without taking damage. When Dimitri Bivol defeated Canelo in 2022, he didn't do it by outslugging him. He did it with high volume, a disciplined high guard, a long jab, and consistent combination punching that forced Canelo to stay on the defensive, burning his stamina while trapped against the ropes. Benavidez brings that same volume, but with far more aggression, physical size, and destructive power. Benavidez stands 6'2" with a long reach, yet he doesn't fight like a traditional tall boxer who stays on the outside. He uses his reach to jab his way inside, smothers his opponent's arms, and unleashes relentless, digging body shots. If Canelo tries his signature shoulder roll against the ropes, Benavidez wraps roundhouse hooks around the guard and drives uppercuts through the center. More importantly, Benavidez has a granite chin. He has taken clean, heavy shots from legitimate light heavyweight and super middleweight punchers and walked right through them without taking a single step backward. Canelo relies heavily on his power to earn his opponent's respect. When Canelo hits you, he expects you to hesitate. But if Canelo hits Benavidez with a counter right hand and Benavidez doesn't flinch, if Benavidez simply bites down on his mouthguard and fires back a 5-punch combination, Canelo is forced into a grueling dogfight that tests his stamina to its absolute limit. In recent years, analysts have noticed subtle changes in Canelo's physical output. As he has aged and fought across multiple weight classes, his gas tank has shown moments of fatigue in the middle and late rounds. He often takes entire minutes off during a round, standing with a high guard against the ropes, conserving energy before unleashing a quick counterburst. Against Benavidez, taking 30 seconds off inside a round is fatal. Benavidez will pin you to the ropes, dig to the ribs, chop over the top, and drain whatever fuel you have left in the tank. However, this isn't a one-way street. Canelo is one of the most intelligent ring generals of this era. Benavidez's aggressive style leaves him open to counter left hooks when he steps in with his head upright. Canelo's punch selection, short explosive counters, and championship experience mean he can catch Benavidez coming in, potentially hurting him or slowing down his pressure. It's the ultimate high-wire act. Benavidez's unstoppable volume versus Canelo's elite timing and precision. That razor-thin margin between victory and defeat, the high probability of taking severe physical punishment, is exactly why this fight required more than just standard promoter negotiations to pull off. It required money, politics, and power play on a scale boxing hasn't seen in decades. While fans see two men stepping into a ring to settle a grudge, the reality of high-stakes boxing is defined by backroom politics, network rivalries, and purse guarantees. For years, the fight between Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez was trapped in the quicksand of promotional boxing politics. Canelo operates as a free agent, making short-term deals with major entities like Premier Boxing Champions and Matchroom Boxing on DAZN. Benavidez, on the other hand, was firmly aligned with PBC and Al Heyman. On paper, having both fighters under or adjacent to the same promotional umbrella should have made the fight easy to make. But behind closed doors, the math didn't add up for the promoters. Canelo's pay-per-view dominance meant that he guaranteed himself massive purses, often starting at $35 million to $40 million per fight regardless of the opponent. When fighting opponents like Jermall Charlo, John Ryder, or Edgar Berlanga, the financial risk for networks.
By unanimous decision, we got that. I just thought Crawford was too fast for Canelo. Too many combinations. Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looks for one shot now. The end is there for Canelo. And I just think that Crawford was too fast for him, especially in the southpaw position. We all know Canelo had problems with the southpaw. So, and that's why I picked Crawford. I just thought Crawford could be too fast.
Was manageable. The broadcast rights and pay-per-view buys were predictable. The gate at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas was guaranteed to sell out, and Canelo was virtually guaranteed to win without taking career-altering damage. To take a fight against Benavidez, Canelo demanded $150 million to $200 million. Traditional American PPV models simply could not support a purse of that size without taking a massive loss, even with high PPV buy rates. The math was broken. Promoters couldn't pay Canelo what he wanted while still paying Benavidez his fair market value, covering undercards and making a profit. Enter the game changer, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh and Riyadh season. Saudi Arabia's entry into professional boxing completely disrupted the traditional network model. Suddenly, purse guarantees were no longer dependent on standard pay-per-view sales or traditional sponsor models. Riyadh season had the capital to make mega fights that were previously deemed financially impossible. They put together Crawford versus Madrimov, Beterbiev versus Bivol, and brought heavyweight unification fights back to the world stage. When Turki Alalshik set his sights on Canelo Alvarez, he wanted one thing above all else: the fights the fans demanded most. He laid out multi-fight deals, bringing massive purses and unprecedented global platforms. But even with Saudi Arabia's involvement, Canelo hesitated. He insisted on taking fights on his own timeline, securing multi-fight contracts that kept his options open, while Benavidez continued to push. Frustrated by the delays at 168 pounds, Benavidez took a massive gamble. He stepped up to 175 pounds to fight light heavyweight powerhouses like David Morrell and Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Many believed moving up in weight would allow Canelo an easy escape route. He could simply claim, "Benavidez moved up to 175. He's not even in my weight class anymore." In fact, Canelo said those exact words in interviews. But Benavidez shut down that escape hatch completely. His team sent official legal letters directly to the sanctioning bodies, declaring on paper that if Canelo agreed to sign the contract at 168 pounds, Benavidez would immediately cut the weight, drop back down, and accept every term. Benavidez cornered Canelo publicly, financially, and legally. Every argument Canelo used: he doesn't bring money, he's not in my division, he hasn't beaten anyone, was systematically dismantled piece by piece. The narrative in the boxing community reached an all-time high. Media members, fellow boxers, and Hall of Famers began asking Canelo about Benavidez in every setting. The proud, fierce champion was constantly placed on the defensive. That is the pressure cooker that produced Canelo's shock outburst. It wasn't just anger at Benavidez. It was the frustration of a proud king who realized that his unmatched leverage was finally being tested by an immovable force. When Canelo Alvarez snapped and shouted, "Sign the contract now immediately, BT!" the entire boxing universe froze. It signaled a radical shift. The polite negotiations were over. The corporate diplomacy was dead. Pride had officially taken over. So what happens now that the gloves are off and the contract is front and center? If both men finally step into the ring, we are looking at one of the most explosive, high-stakes Mexican civil wars in the history of the sport, rivaling classic conflicts like Julio Cesar Chavez versus Hector Camacho or Marco Antonio Barrera versus Eric Morales. Let's analyze how this legendary matchup unfolds round by round. In the early rounds, expect high drama. Canelo will look to establish respect immediately. He will come out behind a tight high guard, looking to plant his feet and land sharp, devastating counter right hands over Benavidez's long jab. Canelo knows he cannot allow Benavidez to find a rhythmic volume early on. He will aim to target Benavidez's body with digging left hooks, aiming to slow down the giant's feet and reduce his late-round energy. Benavidez, however, will rely on his jab. He won't just throw one jab. He will throw double and triple jabs to obscure Canelo's vision, keeping the shorter champion on the outside. Benavidez will use his frame to push Canelo backward, something very few fighters have ever had the strength or courage to do. By rounds 5 through 8, the fight will turn into absolute warfare. This is where the tactical battle meets pure grit. Canelo will look to capitalize on Benavidez's defensive flaws. Benavidez often leaves his chin exposed when throwing long combinations, and Canelo's timing is unmatched. If Canelo lands a clean counter uppercut through the middle, it could stagger Benavidez and change the entire dynamic of the fight. However, if Benavidez absorbs Canelo's best shots and keeps coming forward, the momentum will shift drastically. Benavidez's punch output will force Canelo to fight at a pace he hasn't experienced in years. Canelo will be forced to spend more time against the ropes, covering up while Benavidez pours on 6-punch combinations. In the late rounds, stamina and sheer iron will decide the winner. Canelo's championship experience, composure under fire, and defensive wizardry will keep him dangerous until the final bell. But Benavidez's relentless stamina and physical size could accumulate damage.
Crawford is older than Canelo, so we can't use the excuse that he's older, right? We can't use the excuse that, oh, well, he moved around too much. Well, it's your job to figure him out, right? Just like Chavez would figure out a fighter, just like I would figure out a fighter, just like any real great fighter can figure styles out. That's your job. I think Crawford did a tremendous job. Kudos to him. Sky's the limit for Crawford, and I really don't know where Canelo goes.
Wearing down the veteran champion. If Canelo wins, he cements his status as an all-time top 10 boxing legend, proving once and for all that his critics were wrong and that he was simply waiting for the right moment to destroy his biggest rival. If Benavidez wins, a new era in boxing officially begins, with the Mexican monster taking the throne as the undisputed king of the sport. Regardless of the outcome, Canelo snapping and calling out Benavidez proves one undeniable truth. The fight can no longer be avoided. The fans demanded it, the sport required it, and now the fighter's pride demands it. Now I want to hear from you. Was Canelo's sudden outburst a sign that he's finally ready to shut Benavidez up for good? Or is he feeling the pressure because he knows how dangerous the Mexican monster really is? Who wins when these two giants finally collide in the ring? Drop your predictions in the comments below, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dive boxing breakdowns.